Hey, what's up YouTube? Lightsaber Samurai here. I'm back again with another video, and I wanted to tell you guys about this crazy score that I picked up, which never happens for me, right? Like, I hear all the time in groups that I'm in, and I watch other videos, and it's like, oh man, I found like this box full of super like crazy stuff, and I got it for like $10, you know, type of stuff like that. Let me paint the scene for you. Okay, so a few weeks back, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I saw this local post for this goofy looking controller right here for the Xbox 360. It appears to be some kind of Atari style joystick controller, and she was selling it for like 10 bucks. And even still, I don't know why I decided to hit her up about this. To this day, I don't know. I knew that it wasn't going to be first party, and of course, if you can see that, it's a Mad Catz controller pad, so this thing probably doesn't even work. But it was interesting enough that I figured I can go ahead, you know, I'll go ahead and just hit her up and see what's going on, and, you know, just add this to my oddities of controllers. And so ended up hitting her up. I met this woman to pick this up, and I noticed she pulled it out of a box that looked like it had a bunch of other games and stuff in it. And I was like, oh, what do you have in the box? And she was like, oh, it's just a bunch of other games. I'm getting ready to do a garage sale soon. I'm getting ready to get rid of all this stuff. And I was like, oh, well, can I take a look at it? Like, I collect video games and stuff, that sort of thing. She's like, yeah, sure, you know. And I didn't want to like dig through it, but I saw enough stuff on the top that I made a gamble, and I said, you know, I just told her like, hey, like, I'll pay you for, I'll buy this too if you want, you know, to get it out of your hair. And she was like, how much? She's like, there's like 20 games in there. I'm like, how about 50 bucks? And she was like, deal. So I got this box for $50, and let me bust it out right now. Okay, here we go again. So, what's in the box? Let's talk about it. Okay, so, like I said, this was the box that was in her garage. I saw enough stuff on the top that made me curious enough to at least take the gamble on it. I had some extra money, so I figured, you know, worst case scenario, I would close to get my money back. Starting off here, and this was a mix of Xbox 360 and original Xbox games. I'm gonna set this back down. Also, if I'm talking about Xbox again, I feel like I need to put some green in the situation, so excuse me while I do that. Okay, that's better. So we got some green popping off here. So first game on the list was Spider-Man. So far, okay, I already own this game, and it's non-greatest hits, original version, so you know, whatever. That's something I'm probably gonna trade off here. Same thing with Halo 4. Fantastic game, but I own it as part of the, I own it as a remaster or something on the the Xbox One, and that's a not package for resale or whatever. This one is interesting. It's a double pack that's Fable 2 and Halo 3. Fable 2 I don't have. Halo 3 of course I do have. I don't know if I'll play that or not. That's probably also something that I'll sell off. And sometimes those bundles become rare in the future because, you know, getting those different double packs and things like that. So who knows? This one was nice on the original Xbox. It's Tecmo Classic Arcade, and you guys know I've been on a bit of an arcade kick lately. Been playing a lot of arcade stuff, so that was nice to add to the collection. Don't have that. Okay, Viva Pinata, Party Animals. Don't know much about that game, but I don't have it. I'll probably end up selling it, though. This next one, though, this one is a doozy. I didn't know this was in the box initially. When I got this, when I pulled this out, I was so excited, like super, super excited. Call of Cthulhu on the original Xbox. And that right there, the worth of that game, that literally just paid the 50 bucks right there, because I think this complete in box, which unfortunately it doesn't have the manual, but the disc is in nice shape, and I popped this in, it seems to run with no problem. So even case and manual like easily is like 40 bucks. So that plus these little games here that I already paid for the 50 bucks, so everything else is just extra. Call of Duty World at War, one of Treyarch's best entries in the series. This one introduced the now famous Nazi Zombies mode, which was fantastic. I don't play a lot of multiplayer Call of Duty as far as the deathmatch and all of that, but I'm always down for some zombies. I'm that guy in the group who always just wants to play zombies when we get together online. This one here, this is another fantastic pickup on the original Xbox. It's Outrun 2. Now, unfortunately, it's not Outrun Coast to Coast, but even picking up this one is nice. This one, I think, is hovering around like the $15, $20 mark, so that was a good buy for that. And with Coast to Coast being out of reach for most people financially, that copy, that version will just go up and up at this point. So that was nice to find that. Hannah Montana the movie, definitely going to sell that off. So Dreamworks Shark Tale, I don't know. I'll probably pop it in to play it just to see what's going on, but I'll probably end up selling that too. This one is cool, Peter Jackson's King Kong. This one I don't have in the collection. And if you're gonna play this game, the Xbox 360 version is the best version of it to play. It also came out on the original Xbox and the PS2, and there's even a PSP version, but I don't believe it ever came out for the PS3. So the only 7th gen version of that game is the Xbox 360 version. So cool first-person shooter, kind of plays more like a survival horror first-person shooter type deal. It's pretty cool. The graphics at the time were really nice, I remember, so it'll be nice to crack this back open. And again, I don't have it in the collection already, so that was nice. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This game looks pretty cool. I've never played the Ultimate Alliance game, so I don't know how that's gonna be. But I'm definitely, it was complete in box, came with that, it's got that collectible poster and all of that inside of it. So, I mean, I'll be excited to crack into that. Okay, got Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2. So that was nice to pick those up. I had never played these before. They seem like some pretty cool action adventure or hack and slash games. So regular Darksiders and then the limited edition of Darksiders 2. I think they remastered these on 8th gen systems, so it might be the definitive way to play those there, but I'm sure they play just fine on the 360, so I'll be digging into those. Okay, getting in some RPG action, we got Blue Dragon. Again, this is a game I always was interested in but never picked it up. This has the art style of Akira Toriyama, so it's got that Dragon Ball Z. What else did he do? He did it. Was it Dragon Quest? So it's like it looks a lot like the Dragon Quest series too, and seems like an interesting concept. Microsoft in the early years of the Xbox 360, they were going all in on RPGs because they wanted to appeal more to the Japanese market. The Japanese had that, and still do have, a crushing loyalty to Sony, and so even the Xbox 360 didn't do well in Japan, and the original Xbox did even worse. But because of this and the emphasis that they have, there's actually a lot of cool shooters on the Xbox 360 too, and that was to break more in the Japanese market. They saw more success doing that, but yeah, so that was cool to pick that up. Movie tie-in game Cars. I actually have Cars 3 on the Nintendo Wii U, and that one's a lot of fun. So this is probably a fun racing game, all things considered. Okay, got a bunch of more movie tie-in stuff. A series of unfortunate events on the original Xbox. Don't know anything about that game. Also got The Incredibles. I was not much of a watcher like of Disney Pixar movies. Actually, my girlfriend put me on to The Incredibles somewhat recently, and so I'm a huge fan of the movies, and so hopefully the game is somewhat fun. It looks to be maybe like some type of 3D platformer where you get to play as all the members of The Incredibles, so it looks cool. Hopefully they'll let you play as Frozone too. Another Dreamworks game to go with that Shark Tale. It's Over the Hedge. Haven't seen this movie before, but it looks to be another 3D platformer of sorts. This one was pretty cool. This is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I have the collector's edition of this game, but the collector's edition does not have all the extra DLC and everything that goes with it. The Game of the Year edition does, so it's nice in that sense to have both versions, so I can get the full Elder Scrolls 4 experience, which I've never played Oblivion. I started with Skyrim like a lot of people did, and I didn't have an Xbox early on, so I didn't play Morrowind either. I got the Xbox sometime in like 06 or something like that when I finally bought an original Xbox, so by that time I wasn't playing the Elder Scrolls game, so it'll be cool to go back and check this one out. Came with a I think it came with some extra stuff too as well. Came with an extra disc. I think that's just the DLC disc though. A huge thick manual. Oh, it's got a map with it, so it came with a map with it too. And I think my game of the year, I think my special edition did as well, so I might have 2 of those maps, meaning I can post one up somewhere, maybe over there. It's a big blank spot there. Fairly Odd Parents, breaking all the rules. I'll definitely play all of these before I get rid of them. This one doesn't seem to be my cup of tea. I don't know, it has a cool cel-shaded style. Looks like a 3D action platformer, so it might be good. I might end up keeping it, but that one so far is on the chopping block. Okay, I got some Spongebob Squarepants stuff. This is Lights, Camera, Pants. I don't know if I have that. I think this is like a party game with SpongeBob characters. In the last lot I got with the PS2 stuff, I got a bunch of SpongeBob games. I don't think that was one of them though. I know I do have a copy of this though, Spongebob the Movie, so I'll probably end up getting rid of this one because I got like all the other SpongeBob games on the PS2 and I kind of want to keep it uniform, and since that was a multi-platform title, I'll probably end up selling that one. Okay, so these next games that I'm about to show, they're probably not good at all, but I'm glad that I have them on the 360 because I feel like they may be collectible in the future. So these are the Burger King games, and some of you remember that in the mid 2000s, Burger King had a partnership with Microsoft, and they made these 3 games that you can only get like if you got like a value meal or something like that. These came out on the Xbox and the Xbox 360, and most of these have the Xbox, so that one, like I said, most of them have the original Xbox and the Xbox 360 versions on it, so that's cool. So I got both versions of all 3 of these games. There's Sneak King, which is a stealth game where you sneak in the areas and give delicious Whoppers to people who are like dying of starvation, and so that's interesting. I got Big Bumpin' here, which is like I think it's a series of go-kart like mini game or bumper car mini games, something like that. So there's Big Bumpin'. And then the one I don't see that much is Pocket Bike Racer, and this one seems to be some type of kart racing game. Again, I don't expect any of these to be good at all, but I do think that those may become rare in the future, simply because they were exclusive games to the systems, and the only way you couldn't buy them at stores at the time. That being said, I'm sure there are a lot of copies out there because a lot of people got the value meals and all of that stuff. So it depends on how many of these are still circulating around. Again, Pocket Racers, this one here I never see. I see Big Bumpin' and Sneak King every now and then, but I almost forgot about the third one. So yeah, like I said, that was pretty cool just to have them. Okay, I'm actually pretty excited to try this. This is Alias on the original Xbox. It was based on the TV show of the same name that kind of ran in the early to mid 2000s. Hood Gamers actually looked at this on the PS2 somewhat recently, so check his channel out for that. But yeah, I saw that and thought that like, oh, it's kind of a 3D action game like the type that I like to play, beat 'em up / third-person shooter with some stealth in there and all that. So yeah, I'm actually excited to pop that in, so I'll probably get around to doing that this weekend. Okay, we're getting down to the last few games here. Just a loose copy of NFL Blitz the League, nothing to write home about. I'll probably get 50 cents for that or something. This next one I was excited for, Fusion Frenzy. I thought I had this game on the Xbox, and it wasn't in my collection, so I don't know what happened to this game. Maybe like somebody caught me slipping or somewhere. I loaned it to somebody, and maybe my little brother has it and just never got it back from him. But I was excited to get this because I was looking around for it. I saw the greatest hits version, the platinum hits rather, but I wanted the original one, and this one is complete and nice and clean, so I was happy to pick that one up. For those of you who don't know, it's like a Mario Party style game for the original Xbox, and so that was cool. I was excited. I was hoping that Fusion Frenzy 2 would be in here for the 360, but it wasn't, but that's okay. This one is cool. This is the Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged, and this is nice because there are some a bunch of like their Xbox Live like arcade games on here, and of course they were digital titles only except for this disc. So this is a way to have those physically, and some of them are really good. I know I've played Geometry Wars. I love Geometry Wars. I think that's the only one on here I've played. There's a Bejeweled game on here, so I don't know. I'm cool with having it just for Geometry Wars because that's a fantastic like twin stick shooter, but the other ones I'll probably take a look at. Okay, Pac-Man World 3. This one was a multi-platform release. I know there's a GameCube version of this, so I'm sure there's a PS2 version of this running around. The Pac-Man World games, they were, you know, 3D platformers. This one tried to change up the style of it a lot. I know there's a lot more combat in this one, if I remember correctly. I never played it, but I'm excited to try that to see what new kind of gameplay mechanics that they implemented in that game compared to the first two, which are pretty straightforward 3D platformers slash collectathons and stuff like that. So, okay, that one's cool. It's the Family Guy game, Back to the Multiverse. This one might be a game that rises in price too. Think Futurama. You know, this is a licensed game based off a popular TV show. I don't think it's as popular as it was back in the early and mid 2000s, but yeah, Family Guy was, I mean, that was on top of the world. And I hear this one is really good. My brother, Aaron of Killer Concepts, he has it on the PS3. And he suggested that I get it a while back, and I just never got around to doing it. So, there you go. Now I got it. Okay, and the last game that was in the box is Silent Hill Downpour. Don't know much about this one at all. I know it is one of the more expensive titles in the series. I think this one's hovering around the $25, $30 mark. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to have that, and I'll definitely crack into that. And that's it, man. That's the games. That was a bunch of games, plus this goofy controller. She let me, I told her, like, I'll do it all for 50 bucks. So I got this controller as part of the $50 deal too. But one more thing I gotta go over. So that was a lot of, you know, Xbox and Xbox 360 games. There was a system. It came with a bunch of these like goofy little headsets. They probably don't even work. I don't care if they work or not. I think that's a network adapter that you can put on the back of it. Last thing I want to show you guys is the console itself. It didn't come with any controllers, unfortunately, so I will have to track some down. But the console, oh man, is that beautiful Halo 4 Special Edition console. That thing is gorgeous. I'm so excited to have this thing. This is a fantastic looking machine. So all in all, 50 bucks for these games, this system, and that goofy controller. Definitely worth it. I was happy to find this and scoop it up, and I'll have to plug it in. I hope it works, and if it does, then I'm all set. If not, I'll probably still get it fixed, and I'll still be all set. I'll track down a couple of the controllers, which will probably cost me another 25 to 30 bucks or so to track those down, and then it's all good. But that's fantastic. Okay, guys, that was it. That was the pickups. But let's talk about it in the comments section below. Questions, comments, concerns, threats. What do you guys think of this lot of games that I got for 50 bucks? I was super happy about that. I'm feeling like MC Murr now. I gotta flip half this stuff to get my money back. And that's how the real ones do it. MC Murr is a fantastic YouTube channel that does this exact same thing, and he'll flip. He would take all this stuff and turn this into like 150 bucks. And just be up $100. I'll leave links in the description below to his channel, but he's got some cool stuff. Definitely check him out. I do believe that's all I got for you. If you guys like this content, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. You'll be glad you did. I do believe that's all I got for you. Lightsaber Samurai out, and peace.